जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय पंचतत्व 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 जय पंचतत्व जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय श्रीमद्भागवतम 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 जय श्रीमद्भागवतम जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयत्मुदीरये नश्च प्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। श्रीभगवान् उवाच सत्यं वयं भो वना-गोचरा मृगा युṣmad-vidhān mṛgaye grāma-siṁhān न mṛtyu-pāśaiḥ pratimuktasya vīrā vikatthanaṁ tava gṛhṇanty abhadra। श्री भगवान् उवाच सत्यं वयं भो वना-गोचरा मृगा युṣmad-vidhān mṛgaye grāma-siṁhān न mṛtyu-pāśaiḥ pratimuktasya vīrā vikatthanaṁ tava gṛhṇanty abhadra। श्री भगवान् उवाच सत्यं वयं भो वना-गोचरा मृगा युṣmad-vidhān mṛgaye grāma-siṁhān न mṛtyu-pāśaiḥ pratimuktasya vīrā vikatthanaṁ tava gṛhṇanty abhadra. Mataji's śrī-bhagavān. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Satyam, indeed, vayam, we, bhoḥ, O, vana-gocarā, dwelling in the forest, mṛgā, creatures, yuṣmad-vidhān, like you, mṛgaye, I am searching to kill. grāma-siṁhān, dogs. Na, not. mṛtyu-pāśaiḥ, by the bonds of death. pratimuktasya, of one who is bound. vīrāḥ, the heroes. vikatthanaṁ, blue stalk. Tava, your. gṛhṇanty, take notice of. Abhadra, O mischievous one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Personality of Godhead said, Indeed, we are creatures of the jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose stalk in which you are indulging, for you are bound by the laws of death. Purport. Demons and atheistic persons can go on insulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they forget that they are subjected to the laws of birth and death. They think that simply by decrying the existence of Supreme Lord or defying His stringent laws of nature, one can be freed from the clutches of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of God, one can go back home, back to Godhead. But demons and atheistic persons do not try to understand the nature of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they remain in the entanglement of birth and death. जन्मादयस्य यतन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मूयन्ति यत् सूरया तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मा प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापोत्रयन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेश्वरा सद्यो हृदयवृद्ध्यत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमाकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्रव संयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरवो रसिका भुवि भावुका ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानन्दम् अहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनामाप्रदं देवं अवधूताशिरोमणिम् आनन्दलीलामयविग्रहाय हेमाम्बदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसाप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्तरूपास्वरूपकं भक्तावतारभक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we're discussing from the third canto, 18th chapter, verse number 10. And before we could actually reach that point of discussion, would like to give a summary of the previous few verses and the chapters by which we can relate to the what is the current today's verse all about. So the four Kumaras, after seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha, they saw the self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets. They understood the glories of the devotees, and they offered obeisances to the Supreme Lord, circumambulated him, and then they returned to their abode. And then the Supreme Lord, he spoke to Jay and Vijay. He said, Jay and Vijay, depart from this place now. Do not fear. In 3 births, you will come back to me again. Although I am capable of nullifying this particular curse, but I won't do that. Instead, I approve of this. And then the Supreme Lord told a very interesting thing. The Supreme Lord told that this particular situation in your life was actually foretold by Lakshmi ji. Once what happened when Lakshmi ji left the Vaikuntha planet to meet her devotees, and while she was returning, Jay and Vijay stopped her from entering the Vaikuntha planet because the Lord was sleeping. And Lakshmi ji then did not say anything. But she went inside and she told to the Lord, in near future, they are going to go. This is in the Bhagavatam, in the verses. In one verse, this particular story, this particular incident is mentioned. So it is not somewhere from the Acharya's writings. No, it is in between the lines. You need to read that. But this particular incident was actually foretold by Lakshmiji, that Jay and Vijay were going to get cursed. So, these two principal doorkeepers, they entered the womb of Diti. And Diti, she carried these two boys for 100 years. And when they took birth, or you can say when they were in the womb, or they were already in the womb of Diti, what used to happen? Frequently earthquakes were visible, frequently fierce wind used to blow, the earth, the oceans used to roar, the stars used to fall from the sky, and so many different things, inauspicious moments used to be always visible when they were in the womb. So, when they came out and as they grew, their ambition and their pride knew no bounds. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they had two different natures. They were brothers and their goal was common, to rule the whole universe. Right? That was their laksha, that was their goal, to rule the whole universe. But their style of doing things was different. Hiranyakashipu chose to perform tapasya, intense tapasya of Lord Brahma. It is said that the tapasya which Hiranyakashipu performed, nobody till date will be able to perform. Nobody in the future, nobody in the past has performed. And Hiranyakashipu was such a powerful personality that he actually did establish his temples all across the world. He actually wanted to become the Lord of the universe, and he actually did that. No other demon in the past, no other demon in the future will able to conquer this thing. He was such a powerful personality. Even in the recent movie also, there is lot been mentioned about this. But actually this is a very fact that Hiranyakashipu established his temples, established that nobody was able to recite the names of the Lord, only his name was chanted. He actually became bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. He actually was enjoying the fruits of all the sacrifices. All the sacrifices were actually meant for him. This was actually the scenario of the world when Hiranyakashipu was ruling. He was such a powerful personality, such a powerful demon. There was no other demon in comparison to Hiranyakashipu, dear devotees. This is what Shastra says. I'm a big fan of him. Because he ruled in such a way that was not in terms of the way he was such a demon. There was no such a demon than Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyaksh was a different personality. Hiranyaksh had a different nature. He was a warrior. He was restless, he was aggressive, he was eager to prove his strength. So he wanted to know who is that powerful personality with whom I can fight directly. And then in that aggression, he kidnapped Mother Earth and took her to Rasatal. And Lord Varahadev, he appeared. The Lord Varahadev, he appeared and rescued Mother Earth. And then our Hiranyaksha, he took this as a challenge, that how can someone challenge? Just like when the Lord entered the waters of Kaliya, Kaliya was thinking, who can dare come in my area and challenge me, and he's still alive? Because nobody could ever be alive when someone comes near the area where Kaliya was there. Forget about swimming in that Kaliya Harad. It is not practically possible. When Kaliya understood the Supreme Lord had entered, his arena and he was swimming and challenging him, Kaliya became very upset. Similar situation was with Hiranyaksha. That Hiranyaksha was thinking that I am the Lord of the universe and my brother is the Lord of universe. I have kidnapped Mother Earth and this earth and put it in Rasatal. Who dare can come and relieve her from this pain? So who is that personality? And that was Varahadev. And then Varahadev and Hiranyaksha, they had an intense fight. And you know, when Vamanadeva was having a discussion with Bali Maharaj, at that time he glorified Hiranyaksha's fight. Isn't that surprising? Vamanadeva is glorifying, Baba, Hiranyaksha was the greatest of the fighters. I enjoyed fighting with him. He gave so much pleasure to me. There was a time where in the fight where it seemed that Hiranyaksha was more powerful than the Supreme Lord, because Lord was enjoying that. And the Brahma and the Devatas, they became afraid, and the Brahma started praying, Baba, Varahadev, please stop your Leela. इधर हम लोग की हालत खराब हो रही है, कुछ करो, do something, and kill this person, kill this Hiranyaksha as soon as you can. And the Lord, hearing the prayers of Brahma and others, the Lord in one fist, Hiranyaksha was killed. But the Lord glorified, Vamanadeva glorified Hiranyaksha's fight. So that's how glorious this Hiranyakashipu was there. And let me tell you something more. When Shukdeva Goswami talks about Hiranyakashipu, he also uses the word Sri. Sri Hiranyakashipu. Why? During the time Narad Muni and everybody else, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they, to maintain good relationship with Hiranyakashipu, they used to send him gifts. Narad Muni used to chant his glories. It was such a scenario. The whole world was going through such a scenario that Hiranyakashipu was the boss of the world, boss of the universe. Now Hiranyaksha, and we are discussing Hiranyaksha and Lord Varahadev. Now Varahadev rescued Mother Earth and he came out from the waters. And Hiranyaksha, he was actually challenging and abusing Varahadev. And when he heard everything, Varahadev heard everything, he also, it is said that it pained him, the words of Hiranyaksha, it gave some pain also to the Lord in his heart. And then Lord Varahadev was replying. This is the first sentence which Lord said, Bhagavan uvāca, satyaṁ vayam bhoḥ vana-gocarā mṛgā yuṣmad-vidhān mṛgaye grāma-siṁhān na mṛtyu-pāśaiḥ pratimuktasya vīrāḥ vikatthanaṁ tava gṛhṇanty abhadra. So now Hiranyaksha taunted the Lord, right? He mocked his appearance and dared him to fight. And Lord Varahadev responded also with sarcasm. And he said that we are the creatures of jungle and we are searching for dogs like you. Now this is sarcastic reply. Lord Varahadev is not a wild jungle beast. He is a Paramatma, he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? But he is saying to Hiranyaksha to insult, to humble his false pride, to insult him and to humble his false pride. He is saying that one who is freed from the entanglement of the death has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging. Hiranyaksha was involved with a lot of loose talks. It was because he was not aware of the glories of the Supreme Lord. So he was uselessly talking. He was just abusing, criticizing. This is our subject matter of today, loose talks. The theme of our discussion is going to be loose talk. We are going to discuss from Bhakti Aloka, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, on various points on this aspect. And the Lord The Lord is deathless. The Lord is eternal. The Lord is beyond insults. The Lord, no one can harm the Lord. He is Swarad, he is completely independent. So, Hiranyaksha was bound up actually by the laws of death. And that's why the Varahadev was actually sarcastically chastising him and telling him that you are under the control of Kala and I am your Kala. Who is Kala actually? Kala actually is the Lord himself. Pitama Bhishma says about Kala that whatever happens in our lives is happening by Kala. Sarva Kala Kratam Manne. So now coming to today's discussion. So today's discussion is Prajalpa, ideal talking, loose talks. Now we need to understand the meaning of the word Prajalpa. Okay. Talking with one another is called as Prajalpa or Jalpana. Right? So the talks can be anything. It can be Krishna conscious talks or it can be mundane talks. Both the talks are called as Prajalpa. It is not just that Prajalpa means mundane talks. No. Prajalpa means talking between two people is called Prajalpa. There is another term called as Jalapana. So it's the same thing. Nowadays in this world, godlessness is so prominent that conversing means godless talks. When two people talk, whether it is outside or inside, when two people talk, it is godless talks, right? And therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, it is not profitable for a practicing devotee to engage in Prajalpa. So, there are many kinds of Jalpana or Prajalpa in cultivation of devotional service. There are two. One is mundane, one is transcendental. Previously, the sages, they used to prefer to stay alone. There is an example of Madhavendra Puripad in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is said, Parama Virakta Mauni Sarvatra Udasin Gramya Varta Bhaye Dvitiya Sangahin. Now Madhavendra Puri he was completely renounced. And he was always very silent. There are two kinds of people in this world, Munis and Mahamunis. Right? Graheshvavasthito Rajan Kriya Karvaneto cha Vasudevarpanam Sakshat Upasita Mahamuni. Narad Muni advises us that we should take shelter of Mahamunis. Who are Munis? Munis are keeping always mauna. Right? They don't talk. Neither they talk about Krishna, neither they talk about the material world. They have their own lifestyle. To such people, we are not associated with. We are associating with Mahamunis who don't talk about the worldly things, who talk only about Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Madhavendra Puripad was uninterested in everything material, and he was especially fearful of talking about mundane things. And therefore, he always lived without a companion. Madhavendra Puripad. And he was happy because nobody to talk. If there is any one person is there, then what is going to happen? Sooner or later in near future, or it is going to end up in loose talks. Isn't it? Now, performing kirtan. Kirtan means not just kirtan means not just Hare Krishna Mahamudra. Kirtan also means singing the glories of the Lord. Is also kirtan. Offering prayers, reciting the scriptures, they also come under Prajalpa. When these activities are performed with a pure motive, with a favorable mood and devoid of material desire, then that nourishes the soul. What is the food for a soul? Food for a soul is Srimad Bhagavatam. Our body, it needs food. We may be healthy or we may be sick. In both the situations, our body needs food. When we are healthy, there is feast to eat. When we are not healthy, we are sick, we still need food. We might eat light khichdi or something like that. Food is very essential because it nourishes our body. Similarly, for the nourishment of the soul, Srimad Bhagavatam is essential. Srimad Bhagavatam is food for soul. And if we neglect hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, if we neglect studying Srimad Bhagavatam, if we neglect speaking about it, then we are not going to be nourished. Our soul is not going to be nourished. And what happens? The gradually, when we are not nourished in Krishna consciousness, when we are not portion means nourishment. If we are not nourished, what happens? We start seeing faults in every activity and in every devotee. And then we end up talking about them and everything. So the root cause of this loose talks is we are not properly nourished. So that is the most important point of our discussion today. So all the prajalpas that are unfavorable to Krishna's service are adverse to devotional service. And the practitioner should very carefully, he should give up prajalpa. Now, there are devotees, there are people who said that neither we are interested in mundane talks, neither we are interested in Srimad Bhagavatam. We follow our style. And our acharyas have said that we follow our Mahajanas. There are these new ideologies which come in the modern scenarios. We don't follow these new ideologies. We should prefer following our acharyas. Our acharyas have said very clearly, who are acharyas? Vyasadeva, Shukdev Goswami, Prahlad Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Vishwanath Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and our Vartaman acharyas, all of them, they have set aside a very clear path. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. That is our goal. We don't neglect that. If we neglect that, then we are going to land up in big trouble in our Krishna conscious life. Shravanam is the most important thing. Even studying Srimad Bhagavatam also comes under Shravan. Yes, because by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking and we are hearing that. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also comes under Shravan. So when Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, so devotees say, where is Adhyayan written in this? Studying is not written, Prabhuji. I said, Baba, in Shravan there are hearing and also studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and where Bhagavatam is speaking to us, revealing things to us. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not any mundane book. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself in the form of a book. There are Matsya avatar, there are Varaha avatar, there are Narasimhadev, there are different avatars of the Lord, right? So this Srimad Bhagavatam is also book incarnation of the Lord. Krishna in the form of book, Krishna in the form of, is there in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam? Krishna swadhama pragate dharma jnana divisaha kalau nasta mrishadesha puranar kodranita. When Lord Krishna departed from this planet, this Srimad Bhagavatam appeared in this world to remove the darkness of the material world. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. And how can we serve Krishna? How can we serve the deities? By offering bhoga, performing artik. How do we serve the holy name? By chanting, right? By singing. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 3 ways of serving Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing about it, reading it, speaking about its glories. And it is so simple. Our life has to be simply revolved around these 3 things. And everything else is taken care of. We will be very, very nicely nourished in our spiritual life. And we will gradually, we will become absorbed in the thought of Krishna and so much different pastimes of the Lord. we are actually associating, by studying Bhagavatam, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are actually associating with great personalities like Shukdev Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit, Suta Goswami Pad, Rishi Javnami Sharanya, Maitreya Rishi, Vidura Muni. We are actually associating with them through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. You need to understand this particular point. So our Mahajanas, they had told us that we should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And godless prajalpas are impediment to devotional service. Now what is this godless prajalpas? There are many types. One is useless talks, second is arguments, third is gossip, debates, fault finding, speaking falsehood about others, blaspheming people. So this all comes under prajalpa. Useless talks. In newspapers, in social media, in Instagram, in Facebook, YouTube, and so many are there in the list, Google. So this all comes under useless talks. And for practicing devotees to take shelter of this social media app, it is actually a great loss. If it is not utilized properly, everything can be utilized nicely. But all of us are addicted to the reels, shorts, and we spend hours doing that. So this, whoever that is, all of us, including this person sometimes. Usually I avoid that, but this is a situation. Now, for practicing devotees to take shelter of this thing is a great loss of time, great loss of energy. But if this newspaper or this apps or everything, if they are broadcasting the glories of the Lord, the devotees, that is absolutely fine. But if it is not, it has to be very carefully avoided. Now, people after finishing the meal, mundane people, they normally get indulge in some gossips, some talks. But devotees, or they like to read novels. If you travel across the world, there are a few categories of people who are not into so much into social medias and everything. They are into novels. But what kind of novels? So that is also, reading novels also in the same category. If we want to read novels, then we should read Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is a topic called Puranjana. Puranjana is, the topics like Puranjana is there. You can discuss that. This is such an ultimate thing. If the novel has a story like Puranjana, one shall not be avoided, you should read it. Then comes argument. Argument is a prajalpa that is adverse to devotional service. Now, all the arguments of the followers of Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they're what? They're all simply godless quarrels, right? They do not yield any result other than wasting the mind's strength and increasing one's restlessness. There's so many things which they go on. It is said in the Katha Upanishad that Naisha tarakena matirapanaya. This intelligence cannot be gained from just by argument. We should understand that the transcendental knowledge can be understood by when the Lord reveals in the heart. Srimad Bhagavatam also needs to be revealed. If we are sincerely taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam will gradually reveal itself to you. Just like we, when we pray to the Lord, the deities reciprocate with us. There are a lot of pujas which are offered to Narasimhadev, right? So the devotees, they offer pujas, and what happens? The Lord reciprocates to their pujas, their prayers. So Srimad Bhagavatam also reciprocates to devotees' sincerity. If one wants to enter the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, this is a window. And by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, all these pastimes will be gradually will be revealed. There are so many things which may blow your mind, because when Srimad Bhagavatam reciprocates with you, When you're studying Bhagavatam and you start to realize, that new things get revealed, you get realizations. That is where Srimad Bhagavatam reciprocates with you. And for that, we need unflinching faith in the Srimad Bhagavatam that is not different from Krishna. That is a very important thing. This understanding has to be there, that Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna are not different. Only then and there should be no doubt in our heart. And then gradually when we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, all our doubts will be cleared, karma will be slackened, and one will get pure love for the Lord. So this is what happens when we sincerely take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, by arguing about, there's so many arguments which we do on a daily basis with people about the directions of this should be have done in this way. Then we talk about places, we talk about mistakes, we talk about illusions, and the heart becomes very tough. So throughout the day we are also arguing. But argument, by accepting the Vedic style of argument is very essential. There is Vedic Dashamula Tattva mentioned, and if we argue accordingly, one's mind does not become wicked. What is good, what is bad? When such deliberations are based on the Vedas, on the scriptures, such discussions are based on scriptures, then they are not harmful, they are good. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that study Srimad Bhagavatam very scrutinizingly. Ataiva vana-gocarā vichāra. So we should study Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely. And there are tendencies within the people to conquer others by arguments. We see nature that they want to dominate. They want to conquer the assembly. They conquer the whole assembly based on their useless arguments. And it has no conclusions. And that's why it is better to avoid such association, because it is not going to end anywhere. Because useless arguments, they arise from envy, pride. They arise from aversion or attachment to sense gratification. They arise from self-pride. They arise from foolishness, right? So, quarrelsome people, they get nourishment, they get intoxicated by useless arguments. That is their food. People are always quarreling, their nourishment is what? Arguments. So one should stay away from such people. Then comes gossip. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions about gossip. Talking without reason about other people is very, very dangerous in devotional service. Many people that talk about others to establish their own reputation. They do that. Being envious, some people are accustomed to discuss others' character. And we're telling you one thing, those whose minds are always busy in such things, right? Their minds will never be fixed in Krishna. Never fixed in Krishna. If we are involved with talking without reason about other people, if we are involved in talking about others to establish our own reputation, if we are envious, and we're discussing others' character, then what is going to happen is that we are losing an opportunity to fix our mind in the lotus feet of the Lord. Then comes the topic about debates, right? Debates arise only from desire to conquest. And it is extremely abominable. Fault finding arises only from imposing one's bad habits on others. Fault finding, and this should be given up this should be completely given up. Finding fault, debating. These are some of the obstacles which are coming on our path. Instead, best is to always, if we are hearing about the news, if you are hearing about mundane things, about a lot of things, this is what is going to come out our nature. But if you are always associating with hearing Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking about it, and that becomes the goal of our life to transform others people through Srimad Bhagavatam. If we can do that, if our goal can be this, if we can take this as our mission as well, then let's transform and help others by bringing them close to Krishna Katha. So let's start it ourselves. Instead of pointing out he's like that, or so many other things, let's start with our own thing. Let's start with us. If we can start doing this to ourselves, that let me stop gossiping, let me stop debating, let me stop useless things, loose talks, and let me focus on transforming others by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and inspiring them to hear about the glories of the Lord. Because from morning till evening, we are always asking questions and answers. Right? The lawyer, the teachers, wherever you go in the world, even the birds, we hear the chirping. What is the chirping? They're talking. The dogs, they talk. The dogs, they bark. What are they doing? They're talking. So wherever we go, in the world, we see only questions and answers. In human form of life also, from morning till evening, what do? Questions and answers. We ask questions and someone else answers. This goes on throughout the day. So, that mundane talks, that loose talks needs to be replaced with Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of questions and answers. All the questions we have, all the doubts we have or we don't have, all those will be answered. Then, blaspheming sadhus is the greatest source of inauspiciousness. Greatest, if we want to spoil our spiritual life, if we want to bring all the inauspiciousness in our life, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, those who blaspheme sadhus are bringing the greatest inauspiciousness for them. Instead, practicing devotees should take a vow that in my life, in any situation, I will not blaspheme sadhus. Devotees are sadhus. I will not do that. By blaspheming them, all the virtues are destroyed. By blaspheming the Supreme Lord, by his devotees, from devotees it starts, and then it ends up in Supreme Lord. And it spoils everything. Then we lose complete taste in Krishna consciousness. Then our taste for so many other things increases, and gradually, we don't like the association of devotees. We like mundane association. We want to do business, this and that. And then the track is changed and bye-bye, Hare Krishna. So, biggest example is Prajapati Daksha. Prajapati Daksha, he offended Lord Shiva. What happened to him? Lord Shiva was sitting in the assembly, Brahmaji was sitting in the assembly. Daksha Prajapati performed yajna, he came there, Brahma did not get up, Shiva did not get up. What is the problem? That one small incident that he wanted respect from Shiva, and he felt insulted, that one small thing led him to such a degradation that he got a head of a goat. Right? There is a big fight. Veerabhadra came, he cut off his head, he got the head of a goat, he completed the yajna, but he could not live with the head of a goat, so he gave up his life. Again he was born as a son of Prachetas. That one small thing, what is the small thing? Just that Lord Shiva did not get up and offered him respect. Son-in-law. Just that one small thing led to such a degradation. It may seem very small, but you can see that's why these things are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. All these prasangas, all the incidences, why are they in Srimad Bhagavatam? So that we can take lessons from this. We also do this, we are the same. We are the same Daksha. If somebody doesn't say Hare Krishna or doesn't offer us respects, we burn inside. We burn inside in our heart. And then loose talks come out. We start criticizing that person. And then that we speak one thing, and then it's a loose talk. Then it has so many people, they hear it and they spread it. And then there are more powerful people than you, Baba. And that is what happens. What is the conclusion of our today's discussion? That whatever talks is not favorable for devotional service should be carefully given up by Vaishnavas who are cultivating bhakti. By giving up prajalpa, by giving up urge to speak, is permanently regulated. In order to pass one's life without sin, peaceful life, if you want a peaceful Krishna conscious life, one should not speak anything more than what is necessary. Gambhira, dhīrā. One should not speak more than whatever little is necessary. Right? Speaking can't be avoided. Speak little, speak whatever is essential. Problem solved. Speaking more creates big problems, big troubles. Speaking less, less troubles, less problems. So, Vidura, when he came and met Vidura, he took sannyas, he came back to help Dhritarashtra Maharaj. Right? He came back. At that time he met Yudhishthir in the palace. And Vidura, although he knew that Yaduvansh is destroyed, although Vidura knew that Lord Krishna has departed, he did not reveal that to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Why? Vidura thought that this is not the time, and I am not the person to do that. He stayed there for a few days. He could have easily discussed that, right? But Vidura saw that Pandavas were very happy because they got the kingdom after a big fight. They were happily residing. So let the time take his own course and let the time come and reveal. Let the time come. Vidura did not do that. So that we need to understand. This is from the Bhagavatam, we need to get lessons. That allow time to take his own course. You don't take the business in your own hands. Talk little and talk what is essential. This is another example coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate guide for everything. Everything, Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate guide. These examples, there are so many such examples which we can help us in our day-to-day life. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna says to Uddhava that whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behavior of others will quickly become deviated from their own best interest by entanglement in the illusory dualities. So Lord Krishna is saying to Uddhavji that Uddhava, that if you see someone is good qualities, someone is bad qualities, tatastha raho. Just, there is no need to glorify, there is no need to criticize. We should know dhīrā means he sees everything as if there are some qualities in someone, that is the Lord. He sees Lord's hands in everything and everywhere. So it is better for us as a practicing devotees that if we talk whatever is essential, if you want to talk more, then talk about Srimad Bhagavatam, inspire others, encourage others to take shelter of scriptures, study, and nourish others, nourish yourself. That is the conclusion of today's discussion. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Hare Krishna Janmashtami Prabhu.
One challenge that devotees, if they're in a leadership or management position, it's kind of goes with the service that they have to evaluate other devotees, in their capacity to do service, but how to do that in such a way that they don't incur Vaishnava aparad. I guess, if they're deep in their own sadhana practices, I would be one response, and they're just careful not to imbibe an envious mood. Evaluation can be that this person is really good at that, and this is the kind of service he should do, and this person would have great difficulty doing this kind of service, not in an envious way, but in a way that's actually loving, to properly engage people so that they can accelerate their own spiritual advancement. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji's question, how to managers, how should they deal with different situations? In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many kings who are actually ruling the whole world, like Amrish Maharaj and so many others. They were such a they had more responsibility than what we have in our hands, and they dealt with the whole world. We are dealing with devotees, and they dealt with people outside, non-devotees as well. So their key was that they were always nourished. They were so absorbed in the devotional service aspect. They first nourished themselves, and secondly, the Lord in the heart used to always guide them. Because there are Amrish Maharaj, they used to do two things. Whenever they had to take a decision, they used to consult the Brahmanas. There was a Brahmanical body. They used to discuss with them, ask them. So, and second, after hearing from the Brahmanas, they used to take shelter of the Lord in the heart, and they used to take the decisions. So this is a simple principle. Even Yamraj also, when he has to give a particular decision for a particular jiva who is coming to him, Yamraj also, it is mentioned by Prabhupada in the purports, that Yamraj also is guided by the Supreme Lord in the within. That whoever is coming in front of him, what punishment needs to be given to that person, who decides that? Not Yamraj actually. It is the Lord in the heart who dictates Yamraj to give particular punishment. Oh, Brajsundar Das is here, so he has to be sent to this particular narak. So the Lord in the heart. So there are two things: taking consultation from people about every situation. That was the key for every successful king in the Srimad Bhagavatam or in Mahabharata previously. They used to have Brahmanas whom they used to consult, and based on their advice, they used to take every decision of their life, every decision in the kingdom. So, if you see in Lord Ramchandra used to take shelter of Vasishtha Muni, and so many like that. There are so many. Even in Amrish Maharaj episode also, where Durvasa Muni came there, Amrish Maharaj immediately took shelter of Brahmanas and asked them what they have to do. And they advised him, drink water. But after that also, situation became worse. Then Lord Sudarshan is there. So our duty when you are serving in manual position is that we can first take care of our nourishment, and whenever the situation is there, consult others, hear from the Brahmanical people what they think about this, and then there is a Lord in the heart as Paramatma. He is there to guide, and that can be the conclusion. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
you for the wonderful class. I have a question. What is the significance here in this verse, vana-gocarā mṛgā? Why? What is the metaphor being used? The Lord is calling himself.
Yeah, vana-gocarā. He's saying that I am the.
Animal.
Yeah, so he is actually in animal form. I mean, Varaha, right?
Okay.
And Varaha, he was a wild boar. So that is the analogy. So he's saying himself, I am a wild boar, Baba, and I'm hunting for dogs like you. So he is calling himself as vana-gocarā, and he is calling, he has a grāma-siṁhān. Means grāma-siṁhān means dog.
Okay, grāma-siṁhān means dog.
Dog. Hiranyaksha is dog, and he is himself as a wild boar. So that's why the analogy is there.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your class. Prabhu, about associating with devotees, I've noticed there's like different circles. Like with me, like there's different circles of devotees. Like some we have like friends from before, and then some like I've known as as on my journey in Krishna consciousness. Now what I've noticed is like there's some circles are like very casual, take everything very casually. There might be a lot of prajalpas there, and then some are like very serious devotees, So how do we like change those circles, and how do we see the devotees who are like, not very serious, like not like say like not even chant 16 rounds some days, I've in my observation I've noticed like these things. So how do we see that in our head? Like what can we learn from them?
Always advanced than us. Associating with people who are, because a person is known by association he keeps. So if you are associating with people who are more advanced than you, then you'll take their qualities. Because if you are associating with them, we are taking their qualities. We are taking their consciousness. We are taking their mood. So that's why it is always advisable. It is not, we should be having good friends. It is very essential that we should have friends who are like-minded, who can understand us. That is very important. Who are seriously having friendship with us. No, upar se nahi. Genuine friendship. They are very important that you should have such couple of friends like that, whom you have genuine friendship. But other than that, it is very important that we should be very careful with whom we are associating with, because we will take their nature and it will build our character. So we have to be very careful, because if you are having good people around, we'll have good character. If you have loose people around, we'll have loose character. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much. Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki Jai.